Presentation will be from Malik Shrest at the Mayo Clinic, and he's going to talk to us about total arch with FET for acute dissection, since you guys invented it. So,
thank you very much. First of all, thank you, Maral and Dr. David Adams, for the invitation. So these are my disclosures. So I worked 26 years, including my residency, and spent 22 decades in the faculty of Hanover Medical School, which is the birthplace of both the elephant trunk and the frozen elephant trunk. And I was one of the developers of the Thoraflex hybrid. So it's interesting, before I saw the video, that actually we were doing this 30-year anniversary for the elephant trunk on 12th November 2012. And suddenly a type A dissection came, and my boss at that time, actually Hans Boss, was in the auditorium along with Dr. Miller, and he asked me to do that case and also show it live. So this is the first ever Thoraflex hybrid implantation that has a live case with about 200 people in this auditorium. And the patient, again, did very well. This is the patient there. So, of course, and the second thing is that it's interesting that when Dr. David was doing his first series of the David procedure, Hans Boss was visiting him in 1992 in Toronto. So after he returned, within 1 month, he started also the David procedure in Hanover. And over the next 3 decades, we had a series of 800 plus, almost 900 cases now there. And also this old paper from 1996, where Professor Boss also writes that he was one of the first to do the David procedures also in acute dissections. So it can be done. So I'm going to show you a video of a patient with acute dissection. Again, Germany is a geographically very small country. So it's as big as Montana, but cramped 83 million people. And because of excellent medical services, most of the dissection patients, from time of pain to the beginning of surgery, is under 3 hours. So it's a lot of things are possible there, which is not possible, especially in Rochester, where nobody lives there. So basically only the doctors, right? So any dissection patients, a 10-hour drive. So again, the patients was clinically stable, and we had a policy in Hanover that everyone who was stable with type 1 dissection would get a frozen elephant trunk. And most of the residents had seen more actually I would say elephant trunks and frozen elephant trunks in Hanover than a mitral valve repair, because that was so common, the total arches with a frozen elephant trunk. Again, so the root was also dissected. The aortic valve was intact, and the patient was young, of course. So what I ended up doing was the David 1 procedure with total arch replacement with a Thoraflex hybrid. And again, the Thoraflex hybrid, when he developed, was for the zone 3 implantation, but now we do that for zone 2 or sometimes zone 1. And again, about 800 David procedures one in Hanover. We did do with about 30-40 with the Valsalva grafts, because Ruggiero came many times to ask for that. But again, we didn't find any difference. In fact, the results, what we published, were better with the straight tube graft. So this is, and we also, for these long procedures, what we do is that do the root, start first the cannulation, then during the cooling period, we do the root, and then after the root is done, we start perfusing the root. So the beating heart technique, something like we saw from Dr. Joe Wu today when he does this raw. So the only important thing is that we vent the heart totally. The vent is in the left ventricle, so we don't want any distension. And when this happens, we don't need to care about the long cross-clamp times or ischemia times for the heart, because at least in Hanover, what you used to do was that when you are doing a total arch replacement, half of the cases would be done by the resident, so there is no danger of long ischemic times. Again, this is a pre-op CT scan. You can see it's a type 1 dissection. Ascending is large. The root is also dissected, goes way down. So again, we do direct cannulation of the ascending aorta with the Zeldinger technique, and of course we have usually a T. In this case, we also had a periaortic sonogram to see exactly where the true lumen is. It's usually on the middle side, but in this case, it was more towards the lateral side. Again, stable patient. So after going on pump, cannulation, then we start cooling the patient. So during the cooling phase, of course, then, first now putting the vent in the left through the right pulmonary vein. It's important that this vent is put later into the left ventricle. Again, the Thoraflex hybrid, we always soak them, irrigate with rifampicin, because any infection that happens, usually it's always contamination. So this is how the Thoraflex hybrid looks like. We use a lot of these triple graft ones. They are also, of course, they are ones without only the one side arm also. Yeah, this is how it looks like after it is soaked in rifampicin, now clamping, after giving the cardioplegia. We are now opening the ascending aorta. You can see that it's dissected. And the dissection goes right up to the root. So if it is dissected and you want to do a David procedure, then I do use BioGlue a little bit so that the layers can be brought together. And then after they are brought together, then we cut it out. So I don't want to talk more about the David procedure here, like it's going to Rome to preach to the Pope. So again, I learned it exactly like from Dr. David himself. So again, the same in-out sutures. It's very important, not that running suture from inside. And you can see that the valve is competent. Then after that is done, again, the vent should be in the left ventricle. That's important. And we start perfusing the root. And the temperature of the blood is the same that you are doing for the arch, so it's around 24 degrees. So once you do that, de-air the left ventricle, and then you start perfusing the ventricle. You can see that even at 24 degrees, sometimes it beats, sometimes it fibrillates, but again, there is no ischemia anymore. So now you can take your time to do the arch. So one of the things we learned was that the stroke rates for unilateral cerebral perfusion, antegrade, have been shown to be sometimes lower than with the bilateral ones, and the reason is mostly due to emboli. So either you have to do what we used to do was either retrograde cerebral perfusion when you are putting the antegrade cerebral lines, or like before going on cerebral circulatory arrest, just transect the innominate artery, then put this antegrade cerebral perfusion line. In this case, because the innominate artery was so big, we just used a bigger cannula. And then afterwards, then now you go on circulatory arrest, open up, and then you can put in the second line into the left catheter, into the left carotid, because you have a backflow coming from the right side. So again, here, zone 2, we moved from zone 3 to zone 2. But again, this device is actually a zone 3 device. So if you go to zone 1 or 0, then the first branch will start coming up to low. So I do use these 3 places sutures to pull up the transected aorta, because every 2-3 centimeters, even if you can pull it up, it makes life easier. In this case, I just clamped the left subclavian. And then now doing the first subclavian end-to-end. Usually this part now I do it before going on circulatory arrest, so it saves the time of the circulatory arrest, but in this case, we did it after going on circulatory arrest and then doing first end-to-end. So I think about from the 300 frozen elephant trunks I've done, I think I've had to close the subclavian only twice in my life, so it's always possible to do end-to-end directly. Now then deployment of the Thoraflex device in the descending aorta. I do not do any oversizing. I just measure the size of the descending aorta at the landing zone and take the same size Thoraflex hybrid. So if it is 28, maybe it's usually 30, not much oversizing. So now taking out, the second stage, it takes about 30 seconds to deploy the Thoraflex, and because it only has the ring stance without the longitudinal stance, I usually go down a little bit lower than what you need, and then deploy and pull it up a little bit so that the graft is stretched out. And now putting these 4-stage sutures, because what we learned from our mistakes is that one of the surgeons just put it in, and then he pulled out the handle, then at the same time pulling out the graft. And once it's deployed, the company was happy because they got 2 grafts, 2 Thoraflex for one patient, but then there's no way to deploy again, so that's why you do that. And after deployment, in fact, we always use this endoscope to see how the deployment is, so that if there's anything wrong or there's some mistake, you can always open up, use it with a forceps to open it up. And then after the distal anastomosis, doing the end-to-end with the ascending. So the easy part after doing that is that you know exactly how long these branches have to be, because one of the things we don't like is these 2 long branches which can kink. So end to end, because the heart is beating, the brain is being perfused, lower part of the body is perfused, there is no ischemia of any part of the brain. This is something like what actually Dr. Debicki and Cooley did in the first series almost 70 years ago. So again, doing end-to-end, and after that, then going on to the distal 2 or 3 anastomosis. So de-airing again, once again. And now we know exactly how much length we want to have. One of the things I learned from one of my mentors was that it has to be good, yes, but he wanted everything to look perfect also. Especially, he didn't want any kinking in the CT scan to be seen later. So this is what now I'm starting with the 3 head vessels. And again, because we already have a graft, end-to-end graft to the left subclavian, and that part was always, again, for the second assistant, because you know how difficult it is in the middle of the night, standing 6 hours, and the second assistant, we had usually medical students or first-year residents, and we didn't want them to be sleeping there on the table. So at least they got to do 1 anastomosis then. So again, this is the dissected part, the innominator artery, and then one after another, the subclavian, no, that's the left carotid, sorry, and end-to-end to the carotid. The first innominate has already been done. So in this way, if you're doing, and then again, what I told I've taught our residents to do that, take your time to do this anastomosis, because we have all the time in the world. We don't want to put 20 more stitches, with Teflon. So this way it looks like this, so one after another. And finally, again, the easiest part is now doing the subclavian end-to-end with the graft. It has already been put. And here again, they have the time to do it. You can see that it's being done from the other side, but and the resident is also happy. So this is how it looks like at the end. There should be, one of the mottos is that it should be dry before going off pump. So if you have to give tons of, not only coagulation factors, but platelets and everything, it's not good. So it has to be dry. So this is how it looks like at the end. Again, David 1 procedure, straight tube graft, and with a total arch. Zone 2. Again, we had this publication 4 years ago now. It was an honor to be part of it. And it's the practice guidelines so that you can do the David procedures and in acute type A dissection, but you could also do, which is a type 2B indication now for the management of the arch, but doing together is sometimes controversial, of course. But then we published this paper, still from Hanover data, which shows that you can do a root plus the total arch replacement, and we compared that in 2 groups from 2013 to 19, all with the Thoraflex, 111 patients with a frozen elephant trunk, 50 without the root, and 65 with root. In fact, out of the 65, 38 were David 1 procedures. And of course, then we saw that the results are the same. Of course, there's a little bit bias that with the root is better because you usually do the roots and all these things if the patient is stable. If the patient is unstable, you tend to do some quicker operation. But again, with continuous myocardial perfusion, you could do the total roots. And again, it's not only for the middle of the night. Actually, last month, me and Dr. Kozelli, we were in Vienna for the live visa meeting. He got to do a difficult thoracoabdominal, and I was asked to do a frozen elephant trunk. I said yes, without knowing what the patient was. We arrived there, and suddenly it was a type B dissection, a low-HS patient. They had already put in a stent, which didn't work. There was due to get a little bit dissection. And then I said, okay, and then turned out that had a 5.5 centimeter root, so they asked, oh, can you do a David procedure also? I go to the OR, and they said, no, by the way, the EF is 30%. Great. So, but again, there was a pressure to do that. And the thing was interesting was that you had 400 surgeons, and a lot of surgeons, again, in Europe, do the Valsalva graft, and they were pressuring me to do the Valsalva graft, not the straight tube graft. I said, no, I never done that. Go for the straight tube graft. And of course, the patient did well, and so it is possible to do that. But again, here was also beating heart technique, because with these long cross-clamp times, it's not possible otherwise. Again, it's an honor to be there here.
Thank you.
Dr. David, thank you for the invitation.